Thank you for joining me today. I am Steve Zera with Shabas Solutions. We will be discussing how can pharmaceutical executives prepare for early adoption of FDA's Quality Management Maturity Program to go beyond compliance. In this episode, I will be speaking with my colleague, Bill Hauck, about the history and ongoing development of FDA's QMM program, which aims to enhance pharmaceutical quality practices, emphasizing continuous improvement and operational excellence. We will also discuss what challenges pharma companies face in QMM adoption and potential strategies available for mitigation. Bill, thank you for joining me today.
It's good to be here, Steve. Thank you.
Let's start off by discussing the history of the Quality Management Maturity Program. Historically, the pharmaceutical industry has been centered around assuring basic regulatory compliance. What motivated the FDA to go beyond compliance by developing a QMM program?
Well, Steve, in 2019, the FDA Drug Shortages Task Force had identified in their report that 62% of drug shortages were due to quality issues in manufacturing. And they also noted that the market did not recognize and reward manufacturers for mature quality management systems. So among many other efforts initiated by the FDA to improve product quality and supply chain resilience, a crucial recommendation from that report was that the FDA should develop a program to incentivize drug manufacturers to invest in achieving quality management maturity, meaning they want to encourage companies to go beyond just meeting minimum compliance to GMP. So in order to develop that program, the FDA launched two pilots from 2020 to 2022. The first pilot involved domestic drug product manufacturing, and the second pilot was for foreign API manufacturing. The intent of these two programs was to inform the FDA on how to assess quality management maturity.
What was Shabas Solutions' involvement in the FDA pilot programs?
Well, Shabas Solutions was contracted to perform the second pilot for the foreign API manufacturers. We were responsible for developing a QMM assessment tool and a standardized scoring system in collaboration with the FDA. We also trained the FDA on using the QMM assessment tool, and we performed QMM assessments with 8 sites globally using that tool. After we conducted those assessments, we provided a report to each of the individual sites with the results and also recommendations for improvement. In addition, we also provided a final report to the FDA summarizing the pilot project, also including benchmarking between sites, lessons learned, and further considerations for the future QMM program.
Outstanding. Although FDA's QMM program isn't fully operational yet, what aspects are publicly available now?
Well, the FDA has provided several workshops, written several articles, and also white papers over the years. In 2023, they released a white paper detailing the 5 key practice areas that they look at as part of quality management maturity. Specifically, they are management commitment to quality, business continuity, technical excellence, advanced pharmaceutical quality systems, and also employee empowerment and engagement. Most recently, in 2025, the FDA has initiated another voluntary program for companies to participate in to further assist the FDA in refining their QMM prototype assessment protocol while looking at these 5 practice areas.
So beyond the FDA's approach, what is Shabas Solutions' current assessment model?
Well, our assessment model closely aligns with the FDA approach for assessing QMM. Similar to the FDA, we go beyond looking at GMPs. We're taking a holistic view, looking at the entire organization, evaluating both the quality management processes, but also the supporting business processes that support manufacturing to ensure the organization has a consistent, reliable, and robust set of processes able to achieve both quality objectives and also promote continual improvement. This means that we not only look at areas that are reviewed as part of typical audits, but we're also looking at business processes that, such as supply chain, human resources, information technology, strategy and planning, environmental health and safety, just to name a few.
Can I'd like to move into a little bit of the multi-site QMM readiness assessment, if you don't mind. Your team recently conducted an independent QMM readiness assessment for a multinational pharma manufacturer. What did that process involve, and what final deliverables did your team provide?
Well, we began the assessment by issuing a self-assessment questionnaire to each of the sites that we reviewed. They provided responses to a series of topic-related questions that pertain to each of the 5 practice areas I previously discussed. We also requested supporting documentation, and each of the sites to also provide a self-rating for each of the topics based on a simple criteria. Our team, in turn, reviewed the provided information in depth, and we flagged questions and areas that we wanted to prioritize and look at in further detail when we arrived for the on-site assessment. So when we performed that part on-site, our team verified the responses provided. We also interviewed personnel throughout the organization, from corporate level down to the site leadership to site staff and SMEs. We also toured the facilities. We looked at various types of documentation. We examined how the processes were being managed as part of the various topics. We also looked at how they were being monitored and also improved upon. And we delved into areas that may not have been adequately addressed during the self-assessment. We wanted to drill down deeper into these certain areas just to understand more about those processes. So in the end, our team achieved a thorough understanding of all the operations at each of the sites and their capabilities as relevant to quality management maturity. After the self-assessment and the on-site assessments were completed, our team generated a report with a score assigned to each of the topics reviewed and a summary detailing how the site approaches those topics, including best practices that we observed, but also weaknesses. And for those weaknesses, we provided recommendations for achieving higher scores. An individual report was issued to each of the sites, and a final overall report was issued to corporate leadership, which provided cross-site benchmarking, highlighted key areas for the global corporate team to consider as part of their QMM journey for achieving higher QMM. A key aspect of our assessment was identifying both areas of strengths, but also opportunities for improvement at both the site and corporate level. And we delineated those opportunities for improvement across a timescale from short-term to long-term for improvement.
Bill, what were some of the lessons learned from that experience?
I think the biggest lesson learned was that QMM readiness assessments are not regulatory audits. This needs to be continually emphasized because the fundamental purpose of QMM is to go beyond traditional regulatory compliance. So many times we would have to explain to site management the relevance of certain questions asked. So we had to re-emphasize the focus of QMM is to understand how the organization is going beyond regulatory compliance and identify those areas for improvement. We're not there to determine whether the site meets regulatory baseline requirements. We're there to go beyond that. So therefore, because the QMM assessment reviewed all business processes and various different functions, it really requires participation of site staff that are not typically involved as part of regulatory inspections. So this could be human resources, this could be the schedule planners, this could be the information technology group, and so on. Another aspect of the assessment that's not well understood is that QMM is not owned by quality assurance department. It's not owned by the quality management leadership staff. The sites we assessed initially believed that would be the case. So site management, as well as corporate management, should really understand that QMM covers all functions at the site, both in regulated areas, but also non-regulated areas. And therefore, improvement requires buy-in and participation from all departments across the organization and also their leadership.
Excellent. What are the primary challenges that pharmaceutical companies face in engaging with QMM?
Well, Steve, our experience conducting the FDA QMM Pilot program and also the subsequent QMM assessments revealed that most organizations were not prepared for QMM assessments, not to the same extent that they were prepared for a regulatory compliance audit or an inspection. Many of the covered topics fall outside the scope of traditional compliance audits. So our recommendation is to pharmaceutical companies that they should consider addressing this lack of familiarity by thoroughly reviewing the currently available material that the FDA have available on their website, but also engaging in voluntary QMM readiness assessments themselves before the actual FDA program goes live.
So, Bill, what steps can corporate executives consider taking now to mitigate or resolve those challenges?
My recommendation is prior to participating in the FDA QMM program, that firms develop strategies for implementing and monitoring continuous improvement activities to become better prepared for the assessment. Additionally, if resources permit, we recommend developing an in-house QMM program. This would be a strategic investment by both corporate and sites to sustain QMM-related activities that will involve both continuous improvement and remediation, or it can involve remediation, depending upon how they fare. And this could be applied at both the individual sites, but also at the within the broader corporate organization itself.
So, Bill, what benefits can QMM readiness assessments offer to corporate and site management with drug manufacturing companies?
That's a good question. I will say that there are three main benefits that can be conferred. Firstly, improved business planning and risk management. QMM assessment provides really a holistic understanding of how site operations go beyond compliance audits. So this allows site and corporate management to really make focused investment decisions related to QMM and implement risk-based redundancies, resulting in both enhanced operations to ultimately ensure reliable and robust business processes. I also want to say the second benefit, similar, very much in line with the first, is it really gives an opportunity to re-engineer processes and reduce the cost of quality. QMM assessments provide site management with a unique opportunity to reflect upon their policies and procedures. It really helps them deepen the maturity of their management processes and integrate their quality objectives into their business processes and promote continual improvement. So therefore, optimized processes will then ultimately lead to the production of consistent, high-quality product, resulting in decreased defects, reworks, and recalls, therefore resulting in a higher return of investment and, of course, a reduced cost of quality. But I do want to point out really the main benefit of these assessments now provides improved readiness and competitive positioning. So participating in the QMM assessments now prepares the site to participate in the FDA QMM program once it becomes operational. So when that program goes live, a high site QMM rating will be a factor for customers to select whom they do business with. Who are they going to purchase their pharmaceutical products, at the GPOs, or what companies, a finished drug manufacturer may select, when looking for an API source, or even potential customers, they're looking for CDMOs, who are they going to work with to perform their contract development and manufacturing operations. So this will become a factor. And even furthermore, the FDA is also in discussions of potentially providing regulatory flexibility, for those manufacturers that participate in QMM. Those organizations that prepare now to identify their weaknesses proactively can address them before any potential negative impacts, such as diminished reputation, weakened financial prospects, and so on, when the actual FDA QMM program goes live.
Sounds like a really good program. What comments, if any, does industry have on the QMM program and the anticipated benefits?
Although the pharma industry has not yet achieved a consensus on the value of QMM assessments, which was observed in the 2023 FDA public docket request for comments, we did note that those organizations that participated in the 2020 to 2022 FDA pilot program, and even more recently in our subsequent QMM assessments, they noted that there were a huge benefit for them. They provided a real comprehensive understanding of how site operations work, beyond the compliance level. And they were able to identify areas for improvement that were never considered previously by site management.
Bill, I'd like to look now a little bit at this future QMM. When do you anticipate FDA's QMM program will be fully implemented, and how will that impact the pharmaceutical industry?
So the FDA has been working on developing their QMM program since 2019. Again, they most recently issued another round of participation by industry as they further refine their assessment protocol. But it appears that they're working to go live within the next 1 to 2 years. Once finalized, the FDA QMM program is anticipated to really bring some wide-ranging changes to the industry that really could put low QMM scoring companies at risk, really at a huge disadvantage. So therefore, we highly recommend that manufacturers consider incorporating QMM principles now into their site operations and initiate development of an internal QMM Center of Excellence or QMM internal program for their operations.
Bill, if you were advising a pharma CEO right now, what's the one thing you'd tell them to prioritize in preparation for an active FDA QMM program?
I would recommend that drug manufacturers prioritize and shortlist their sites that qualify for the FDA QMM program. We recommend them taking a QMM readiness assessments, perform cross-site benchmarking, and really decide which one of their sites may be best poised to participate in the QMM program when the FDA actually starts accepting applicants. By doing so, firms can address potential adverse ratings in advance and avoid any potential negative repercussions prior to enrolling in the FDA QMM program, such as diminished reputation or weakened financial prospects.
This has been a great discussion today. Bill, thank you for taking the time with me.
Thank you, Steve.
And I want to thank everyone for listening to today's discussion. If you found today's discussion valuable, be sure to read Shabas Solutions Pharma Exec article titled Going Beyond Compliance, Early Adoption of FDA's Quality Management Maturity Program, and the Practical Considerations for Executives. And please share that with others. In addition, check out Shabas Solutions website to further explore their QMM services and follow them on LinkedIn to be notified of future episodes and industry updates.